Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Welcome back to another bookshelf tour. We're going to put that there for now. What we're doing here is we're going to start on this shelf right here and do the end of this shelf, and then that will be all of my shelves will be up. And you can take a look at everything, and if whatever strikes your interest, please just comment, ask. Hey, I want to hear more about this or that title, or I'm interested in that author or whatever. Could you do something on that, and I'll make videos accordingly, whatever people are interested in. So after high school, I made a point to read whatever classics I could get my hands on. So once I got graduated from high school, that, next year, maybe year and a half, I didn't do anything but read classics. So, I still, a lot of classics fell through the cracks. There's so much that you can't ever get. You can't exhaust the classic literature of the world. But I did my best. So what we're going to start off with is classics. This is a bookshelf that's all fiction, classics, and then contemporary literature. Mostly American literature. Some other stuff sprinkled throughout. So let's just get to it. First over here I have Great Expectations. This is the I believe it's the Heritage Press edition of Great Expectations. Sorry, it's the Franklin Library. So, and it's a great binding, gilded edges, illustrations along with it. So illustrations of Pilethorpe, Pilethorpe, F.W. Pilethorpe. So it's a great little binding. What an amazing experience going through Great Expectations. So, The Risen Atom by Virginia Hyde. This is an exploring D.H. Lawrence's revisionist topology. Goes through a lot of D.H. Lawrence's works and how he looked at time and metaphysical and cosmology, metaphysical ideas, just whatever. So, The Rainbow, Women in Love, Aaron's Rod, Birds, Beasts, and Flowers, The Plumed Serpent, The Man Who Died. It just explores a lot of different works in the light of hit themes that he would touch on. D.H. Lawrence, Women in Love. I have Voltaire's Candide right there. Jack Kerouac's Desolation Angels. That's a great Kerouac. If you're not into some of the beat literature, I recommend some Jack Kerouac for sure. Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, always good. Allen Ginsberg loved Blake, so can't go wrong there. I have the Penguin Classics Virgil, the Ennead. This is a prose translation of the Ennead, and shout out to Steve Donahue. Where's your Daily Penguin? Virgil. You know what I mean? So bring it on, brother. I have, this is one that I haven't worked through. It's a recently acquired. It just found its home there. This is Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. I want to get through this year. This made it to the top of so many people's greatest authors, greatest books lists. So I picked it up in a used bookstore or at a Goodwill or something cheap. Barnes and Noble Classics, so I could just read through it and get some experience with it for myself. F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. William Faulkner, As I Lay Dying. This is the Modern Library edition, corrected As I Lay Dying. I got this because why not get my feet wet with some Faulkner, and this was cited as Flannery O'Connor's favorite novel by William Faulkner. Czeslaw Milosz, The Captive Mind. This is a really amazing book. Just talking about the psychology of of slave and master relationship, things like that. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Victor Hugo. Manuscripts Don't Burn. This is a Mikhail Bulgakov, A Life in Letters and Diaries. So Miguel Bulgakov wrote Master and Margarita. I love it. It's a wonderful magical fiction from Russia. And he wrote Heart of a Dog, which is a very cool and powerful work exploring what it means to be human. Hobbes' Leviathan, another Penguin Classics, Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan. I have House of Mirth, Edith Wharton. I was turned on to by a friend. Just picked up that little reading copy to have some experience with it. Have not read that one yet. Canterbury Tales, Chaucer. Dostoevsky, The Gambler is right there. One of his shorter works. Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment I have right there. And then I have Dostoevsky's The Idiot right there. Harper Lee, Go Set a Watchman. I have the hardcover there of her posthumously published work, Go Set a Watchman. A sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. A lot of heat on that novel, and I won't spoil it by saying why, unless somebody says something in the comments, want to hear my take on it, stuff like that. I love To Kill a Mockingbird, and I really liked Go Set a Watchman as well. On here, I'm just going to go down the list because instead of pulling the whole thing out. Stoner by John Williams has found its place on the shelf right here. I really enjoyed this work. If you don't know Stoner, this was my first read for 2020, and you can find my take on it in my videos. Grendel, John Gardner. This is a character study of Grendel from Beowulf. If you have any experience with Beowulf, you know that Grendel is a monster, a total monster, but not as much of a monster as his mother is. Grendel's mother is completely terrible, and so this is a very cool little character study of Grendel as a being. I have my Hermann Hesse right here. This is Steppenwolf, Siddhartha, Journey to the East, and Damien. All Hermann Hesse. I also have The Glass Bead Game. That's actually on my to be read for 2020. Camus, Albert Camus, The Stranger, I have right there, and I have Exile in the Kingdom there over on the side. To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee, George Orwell's Animal Farm, Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground, awesome work. Lewis Carroll's Alice Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, I love it. A Beowulf, translated by Burton Raphael. Truman Capote, In Cold Blood. Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo. If you've never read Johnny Got His Gun, please read it. And if you just want to, kind of experience Dalton Trumbo, there's a great movie starring Bryan Cranston where he portrays Dalton Trumbo himself. Dalton Trumbo was an amazing writer and very prolific, and worked on script writing and movie scripts a lot, and was blacklisted as a communist in the communist scare, back in Hollywood. So, but that is an anti-war book. Johnny Got His Gun. Totally on the level. A great work. Flatland by Edwin A. Abbott. Flatland is an amazing little science thought experiment. If thinking about dimensionality. John Steinbeck of Mice and Men, and I have The Pearl and the Red Pony. I love The Pearl. I love Of Mice and Men as well. Steinbeck was great. Robert Louis Stevenson, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and Other Stories. Ellison's The Invisible Man. And then down on the bottom there I got The Metamorphosis and In the Penal Colony by Kafka. So let me just see. I'm going to take a look at where the camera is set. Let's get a little bit further down. Then I can just stay right here until the end of the video there. Cool. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. I'm not great at the visual, and I don't like to do any edits. I want to keep it real. So I thank you for bearing with me. Of a local Atlantean author, Blake Butler. So now we're in more contemporary fiction, American fiction, and this is stuff that I've read. The line, almost all of it. Blake Butler, There Is No Year. This is a total mind screw, experimental fiction, and I do recommend it. If you like experimental fiction, go for it. It's really, really fun. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. He wrote the Wayward Pines trilogy, of which I have the first one. I haven't read it. It's on my to be read. And the newest book, Recursion, is really good. But Dark Matter was where I was turned on to him. I really enjoyed that book. It is it is very fun. Contact by Carl Sagan. Shadows of Our Forgotten Ancestors. I have Michael Chabon's The Yiddish Policemen's Union. This was a pretty fun book. A mystery, detective novel by Michael Chabon. What a great cover too, huh? I love it. All over the place. Michael Chabon's The Mysteries of Pittsburgh. This is a little short novella by Michael Chabon. I have Jonathan Lethem, Motherless Brooklyn, Gun with Occasional Music, and I have The Disappointment Artist. The Disappointment Artist is actually a collection of essays, not non-fiction, where he's talking about his own experience being a writer, and just points about his life, how he became who he was. The great books, Milton, just a collection of Milton's writings. Ursula K. Le Guin, The Telling. This is a beautiful book. Ursula K. Le Guin is just a master storyteller, one of my favorites of all time. The Physiognomy. This is I don't know anything else about this author. Jeffrey Ford. This was a really awesome experience stuff. It's total crazy sci-fi set in the future where we're under this totally oppressive, tyrannical machine. People are all genetically made to be who they are. On the row here going up and down, I have Mark Twain's Letters from the Earth. If you've never experienced any of Mark Twain's satire, this is where you go. Mark Twain's Letters from the Earth. This is letters from Satan, who is here on the earth, writing back to God in heaven. Letters talking about what we're all doing, what we believe, and all that kind of stuff. It is very, very, very much fun, awesome satire. Epiphany by James Ferguson. I enjoyed that book. It's a Christian sci-fi. Don DeLeo, White Noise, and Don DeLeo, The Body Artist. I have right there. Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. That's probably my favorite Arthur C. Clarke. Childhood's End. I love it. A lot of fun. I have a copy of The Reincarnation of Peter Proud right there. I have the Ursula K. Le Guin's Earthsea trilogy, A Wizard of Earthsea, The Farthest Shore, and The Tombs of Aten. 1, 2, 3. Very, very fun little fantasy in the vein of Harry Potter, way before Harry Potter was cool. Gulliver's Travels and Other Writings by Jonathan Swift. A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter Miller. That's an amazing sci-fi book. Agent of Chaos by Norman Spinrad. Deus Ex by Norman Spinrad. And I have Child of Fortune right here by Norman Spinrad. I like Spinrad's stuff. I really enjoyed Agent of Chaos. He did one called A Scourge of Screamers. That's really good. Piers Anthony on a Pale Horse. Roads Not Taken. This is science fiction tales in a way, but tales of alternate history. The Once and Future King by T.H. White and The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury. Let me just shift over here. So, here I have Tales of Earthsea. This is just kind of further tales from the same world that the trilogy, the Earthsea trilogy is set in. This is a great, beautiful binding, and I love it. I love the Earthsea series, man. One of my first books that I read when I was a kid that I fell in love with. Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. This is the Norton Critical Edition that has all kinds of essays and ways to work into the text. Backgrounds and sources, some of Conrad's writing, other than the proper, Heart of Darkness, and then some critical essays by all different writers about the Heart of Darkness. So just a lot of ways to work into the text. Tangents, a collection of sci-fi short stories. 3 stories by Theodore Sturgeon, a popular old school sci-fi writer. Newton's Wake by Ken MacLeod. I have not read that. And The First Immortal by James Halperin. I have not read that. They both seemed really interesting, so I had got them and picked them up because they were just so cheap where I had found them. But I have not read those 2 yet. The bottom shelf here, I have more contemporary fiction. We're just going to get through it, guys. I have Elric and the Stealer of Souls. This is the second part of the Elric series. This has like 6 books in it. What a great cover though, huh? And then the first part is called Elric and the Song of the Black Sword. Elric is an amazing character that Michael Moorcock had come up with and did a whole series of fantasy, science fiction, fantasy novels about. So I definitely recommend it, but this is the second part. You're going to want to go with Song of the Black Sword first, and that's got like 5 or 6 novels in that one. Michael Moorcock, The Fortress of the Pearl. This is one of the Elric books that I got just in its own binding. Flights, Extreme Visions of Fantasy. This is a collection of fantasy short stories. Joyce Carol Oates, Orson Scott Card, Harry Turtledove, Neil Gaiman's in here, all Larry Niven, all kinds of awesome fantasy writers. I have Charles Bukowski, What Matters Most is How Well You Walk Through the Fire. I have Masterpieces of Murder by Gerald Gross. Now, he was a true crime writer that was super popular and just doing it the best. He's a standard. So I got this hardcover binding of Masterpieces of Murder because why not? It's just a great find and a immensely readable stories of true crimes. I got Tom Robbins' Villa Incognito down here. A copy of The Secret Garden. I have Jeff Vandermeer's Born. I enjoyed this. Not as much as the Southern Reach trilogy. I love that. The Southern Reach trilogy is, Jeff Vandermeer does weird fiction. And so I like his stuff, but Annihilation is the first book of the Southern Reach trilogy, and much better than the movie. But it's a 3-book series, and I totally recommend it. It was a lot of fun. Raymond Chandler, The Big Sleep. It's a classic. Ray Bradbury, Zen and the Art of Writing. Now this is a great book on creativity and writing. just essays by Ray Bradbury. And I actually have it signed by Ray Bradbury. So just came upon this and was able to get it, so why not? Ray Bradbury, I Sing the Body Electric. This is a collection of short stories by Bradbury. Very good stuff in here. Joyce Carol Oates, The Tattooed Girl. And I have The Edge of Impossibility. This is Tragic Forms in Literature. Joyce Carol Oates is amazing and prolific. I mean, I haven't read, half of her stuff, for sure. Arthur C. Clarke, Rendezvous with Rama. Madeleine L'Engle, An Acceptable Time. Ken Follett, Pillars of the Earth. I have a book, John Calvin Batchelor, The Birth of the People's Republic of Antarctica. A futuristic, kind of novel. It looks so interesting, and I have not got into it and read it yet. But I had got this from the library for 50 cents or something. It just looked super interesting, so I did buy this one on a whim. But it's not pressing to get through at some point. If anybody knows anything about it, please. If I hear too much, I'm just gonna get it and read it right then, because I am interested. Book of Numbers by Joshua Cohen. Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. This was an amazing experience. Cloud Atlas is one of those modern masterpieces, guys. The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. And then on the side here, I have my Richard Bach. I have One, Illusions, The Bridge Across Forever, and of course, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. What a great gateway book for me. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, so good. All right, and that's that, guys. On the bottom shelves of these bookshelves here, I have just more movies. I do have a lot of movies. I used to be a bigger movie watcher than I am now. So, and that caps off the bookshelves, guys. We're done. Every single book that I own is now on YouTube. So welcome. Welcome to look through and comment and ask me anything about anything. And I appreciate you joining me, guys. Happy reading, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.